All right, so we're going to do part two. So the first video was we started actually at the bottom of this chart, which was the four pillars of a strong personal economy. So now what I want to talk about is where you're at. What are the problems that we're facing? So what happens is so we're talking about the debt paradigm. So what happens is and this is what we call the Money for Life game plan. And so again, this is based on the book Money for Life. That's kind of like the textbook that we teach our clients. Why? Because I like processes, so I can always go back to and show people where they are and to give you a money operating system. So this is kind of what we teach at Practical Wealth. So what happens is so here's the contention. So what I show people is that there's more opportunity. So this is our overall philosophy. There's more opportunity to minimize the losses in your financial life than there is to try to pick winning investments. All right. And see, because most people give their money away. Most people are involved in the transfer of their wealth away to people that create the situations, control the outcomes so that they profit off of you not understanding the money game. And so the main culprit of that is something that has been thrust onto us over the last, I want to say, 40, 50 years is the concept that's talked about in the book of the debt paradigm. Okay. And so the debt paradigm says to you, you can have, basically wherever you want as long as you can provide the financing. So, debt is become currency at this point because most people can't afford their big ticket items. But again, if 35 cent of every dollar leaves your personal economy in the form of debt, then see, because here's the thing, see, debt, that you have to pay for, right? Consumer debt. See, if you buy an investment property, it is debt, but it's not debt because it's leverage, and who pays the loan back? Your tenant, okay? But if you're buying flat screens, if you're buying cars, if you're buying big houses, and you've got to pay for that money out of your earnings, that's debt, okay? And here's the thing, what is debt? Debt is an obligation on future earnings. What you're doing is you're using future earnings as collateral. That's why they look at your credit report. That's why, they want to make sure that you have a job and how long you've been there because your income is your collateral, right? And they want to make, what does the bank care about? Can you pay me back? Right? Do you have the ability to earn income? So what happens is here's your debt paradigm. What they teach you is get money, right? So go to work, get your education, get a good job for the most part, right? And so what happens is get what you need and want, right? So basically, what are you taught to do? Earn, borrow, 'cause especially for big ticket items, you're not gonna pay cash for them, and well, you might pay cash for them, but basically you're taught to, we have immediate gratification society, so you're taught to basically get money, earn, borrow, spend, repay. Okay, and basically most people repeat step one and two over and over and over again all their life. Okay. They bank a little or save a little so they can do what? Spend it later. Okay. And so for most people, saving is just delayed spending, right? And uh and I'm gonna show you this in another chart. And then for good measure, they'll teach you, well, buy some term insurance, okay? 20-year, 30-year term where less than the 1% of term policies pay out because most people don't die within a term. And so now you've paid for this for 20 years. If you keep it, most people only keep it about 3, then you're drop it because you can't afford it. So now the insurance company keep all that money as pure profit on money they've been collecting, saving, investing that they didn't have to pay a claim out on. Okay. And so you're told, some people tell you, well, you'll be, what's the third decrease responsibility? You'll be self-insured if you keep saving this money, right? I don't know where the money is because you're in so much debt, but let's say you get to a point where you're self-insured, you don't need insurance anymore. Okay. And so you're told to drop the insurance, but after 65, what's the probability of you dying? Mm, unless you know something I don't know, 100%. So why would you drop it when you're really going to use it? And every year you get older, it gets more expensive and bypasses probate and all that stuff. So anyway, the I could do a whole another talk on that one, but let me stay on the thing. So let's talk about the debt paradigm. That's what most people are taught to do. So now let me illustrate that another way. I showed this in another talk, but it bears repeating. All right, so let me kind of illustrate this concept of the debt paradigm. So what most people do, oops, that's not what I want to do. Come on, now my thing is frozen. Oops, there we go. So what happens is this. So here's what people do. So here's the debtor. Remember, there's three types of people in the world: debtor, saver, and the wealth creator. So the debtor, what do? I mean, make money. You need something. You go into debt. You do what? You go into debt, and then you pay it back off. And you go into debt, and you pay it back off. And so you spend your life, right, working your way back to zero. Okay? Sound familiar? Did I just describe that? And so what happens is the oops, let's move this. The so here's the so you spend a little bit, right? Save a little bit so you can split. What are you going to do? You're saving. If an emergency or opportunity comes up, what do you have to do? You have to use your savings or consume your savings. So now what happens is you start over, right? But what's the net result? Zero. See, most people are either going into debt, paying it off, or they're saving money and they have what I call a put and take account. Okay. And so the net result is the same, right? So I want you to learn to be the bank. I want you to have the wealth creator is consistently saving money, and you save it somewhere that gives you the ability to have access to your capital. Okay. People, I was on this thread today on Facebook. We're talking about Bitcoin. You know what I would do if I would do it? I would put it in my safe account. I would access my cash. I would speculate with Bitcoin because you're not investing, but then I would take my profits and put it back into my safety net. I want to take it's like, playing blackjack. You want to take your winnings off the table and play with house money. And so that's how I would do that deal. In fact, I think I'm going to talk about that. And so, you know what I mean? And so I ask people all the time, well, which one of these would you rather be? Right? And I think you want to be the wealth creator. So let's talk about this, right? And so we're taught to earn, borrow, spend, repay. So what I want you to do is to think differently, right? And so you got to learn to operate your personal economy with the same practices uh, that create the same results that banks, that um, rich people, the Buffetts, the Oprahs, the corporations, the Goldmans, all those people, there's nothing new under the sun, folks. This is. And so what happens is, here's the thing, those same strategies work in personal finance, okay, as they do. So if you took a personal finance course, here's what they teach you: buy and hold, dollar cost average, get out of debt, buy term investor difference, right? But if you take a corporate finance course, guess what? They don't teach none of that stuff, okay? Here's what they teach. They teach cash flow. They teach velocity of money. See, your money's got to move. Anytime you're leaving money accumulating, you're losing money. Money, we have currency. Currency is like electric. It's got to move. And so you've got to move money through assets, and keep your money circulating. You just don't leave it sit stagnant, okay? And they teach leverage. See, folks, leverage. What does leverage mean? So It's you're taught to get out of debt, which means you pay extra on your mortgage. So all you're doing is giving the bank their money back faster. Well, what the heck do you think they're doing? They're loaning it back out to somebody else. Well, see, guess what? Why don't you pay them back over a longer period of time with depreciating dollars and put your money back out to work for you? I don't know. That just makes more sense to me because if you got $100,000 in equity, you got $100,000 cash, and you have a $50,000 in debt, you're not in debt. Understand that. Okay. Debt is when you have more liabilities than assets. You have debt, but you could, especially if you're liquid, write a check for it. You just choose not to. So it's a question of location. Do you want, with real estate, do you want to locate your wealth in the house where equity has no rate of return, or outside the house? See, folks, you have to think, okay? And you've got to learn to do what the banks and what Wall Street and what these people do, actually do with their money, not what they tell you to do. Because what you're taught to do, and I'm not throwing them under the bus, is just listen, they have a business to run. And so you have to, you have to pull your own little red wagon. So you got to stop looking for other people to save you, and you need to open up a damn book and understand the game, okay? Because it's your job to, ain't the government's job to take care of you. It's your job to take care of yourself and your family and teach your kids. So I don't let people off the hook with that, okay? Because the information's out there. And you know, don't get me started because it's out there, and I what I try to do is I try to put it out there, and when a student is ready, the teacher will appear, right? So this is why we're making some of these videos. So here's what you want to do. So here's the Money for Life model. So here's what we teach, right? So we talked about the 4 pillars in the last video, right? So how do you get there? So here's the steps. It's really simple, folks. It's 2 plus 2 is 4. I always tell people, right? And so I'm your guide. So I'm going to guide you down this path. So the step one is you got to, the same as the first one, you got to get money, right? But so earn it, right? That's a job, right? And you need to inherit it. Most people ain't going to inherit stuff, but if you want, I will show you how to create an inheritance for yourself, okay? Because that can be done, okay? And you got to learn how to use the least amount of money to create the most amount of wealth to drive your wealth forward. So we have a process we teach called the family legacy, and how you can drive wealth and create inheritance where there were none. So if you'd like to know how to do that, give us a call. You got to sell stuff, right? You need a cash machine. See, folks, you got to learn how to make money. You got to make more money. You ain't never going to get no. My father always told me, you never make any money work for somebody else, right? And so, one, you lose a lot of it to taxes. You don't have control, and you're trading hours for dollars, right? And so you need to do something in addition to, Jim Rohn always said, wages make you a living, profits make you a fortune. So yes, you need to earn it. You need to earn a living, but you need to work on your profits. I don't care, so we're going to do some whole talks on this, on the get money component, because what does that mean? So that means if you've got a job and you're still not making ends meet, or you should, I don't care if it's Amway, I don't care if it's what Legal Shield, Mary Kay, you need to sell your stuff or somebody else's stuff. Affiliate marketing, there's Amazon, there's all kinds of stuff that you could do. What are you good at? Or what do you know that somebody will pay you for that knowledge, okay? Or what other stuff that you like that you can communicate and market some stuff that you believe in, right? That helps solve a problem for somebody else that they will give you a check for, right? If you've got a business, your number one asset is your business. I mean, I'd rather have you spend, $300 on a Facebook campaign or an ad campaign before I'd have you put it in a mutual fund, right? Because you have control over your business. That is your number one investment, right? So now once you do that, you got to get money, right? See, I always tell people, look, you don't have any money, I can't help you. I can't steer a parked car, right? So you have to generate some money. Now you got to bank it. Bank it, save it, right? Same thing. Bank what? 10 to 20% of your income. right? You got to pay yourself first. So if you make, what does that mean, Curtis? So if you're netting, let's say you got a job, so your job, you live in a net world. If you make $3,000 a month, 10% of that is $300 a month, right? So you need to put that $300 in an entity that will allow you to act as your own bank. We call it the private reserve strategy. All banking is what, again, is creating a pool of capital that you control that can move at cost to meet some need you have. Okay, we believe the best place to do that is dividend is permanent, is whole life, just to be clear, not IULs, or you hear other people say that, but it's dividend paying whole life from a mutual company, so we're clear, right? And so that now you can use your cash value as collateral. So now if you've got a big ticket item, what do? You borrow. It's really against, not from your bank, but you borrow from your bank, right? You spend it. You need to live. What do? You spend it on what? You spend it on, one, depreciating assets, and two, on appreciating assets. So a depreciating asset, big ticket items you can't pay for out of cash flow, right? It could be a vacation, it could be tuition, it could be summer camps, it could be, you need a transmission, a hot water heater, you need a roof, business equipment. Uh, you can borrow from your bank, buy it, and then, or an asset. I have a young client, friend of mine that, was able to borrow. He saved. He had money. We banked it. He borrowed it. Because see, investing is spending. Investing is spending. You buy investments, right? So, he bought a ATM machine. Okay. And matter of fact, it was 8 now, right? And so what happens is they're about 2 grand, right? It's averaging, I don't know, 250, $300 a month in fees per machine times 8, right? And then what do? So from that cash flow, you repay your bank with principal and interest that you borrow. So now what happens is, here is your money operating system. So you focus on always, what's the seventh rule of the richest man in Babylon is increase thy ability to earn. So you want to always make more, but then you want to save more. You want to bank it, and so bank it means save it. So and so think about this. It's only 4 things you can do with savings. You can save your savings, you can consume your savings, you can lend your savings, or you can invest your savings. Lending or things like bridge loan, you can loan it to yourself to buy stuff on time. You can loan it to other people and charge them 8 or 10%. When you can get money let's say 4.76%, and you can loan it to somebody else at 8, you understand that's a 68% markup on your money. How many of y'all are earning 68% out there? That's another talk. I've done this on another talk, and I'll show you how that works, but you got to understand finance, folks. All right. And then you repay yourself. So now that's your operating system. So now what happens is you want to focus on what? Here, and then learning how to, one, recapture the 35 cents of every dollar you're giving away, and then you want to learn how to buy assets that generate more money than they cost you, which does what? Grows your cash flow. So if you go from 3,000 a month to $6,000 a month, now you can save $600 a month, right? And so that's your foundational operating system. So this is what we teach at Practical Wealth. And this is a bunch of scribble scrabble. But this is what we teach at Practical Wealth. So if you'd like to, know more about this, you can go to our site, practicalwealthadvisors.com. Hey, on there I have a button you can click a 15-minute, ask for a 15-minute strategy session with us. We'll go a little bit more than that, but a 15-minute strategy session with us. You can get our ebook, Financial Planning Has Failed, and text 26786 to text cash flow 26786 and download that, and we'll put you on our mailing list, and we're gonna, we do webinars, and if you're in the Philadelphia area, we do live workshops, and love to see you and answer any questions that you have. Make sure you also go to iTunes and check out the Practical Wealth Show. on iTunes or listen to our podcast where we talk about, you know, money and you being a good steward of your money and the prosperity economics and just really how to think outside the box, how to get outside of Wall Street, but you got to have a operating system for your money, folks. Thank you. Have a great day.